I died choking on my own blood at 19, and when I opened my eyes again, I was 11 years old, standing in the doorway of what used to be my bedroom. Lily needs the south-facing room, my mother was saying, her hand already on my shoulder, steering me backward into the hallway. Basha. The morning light will be better for her complexion. You know how important that is for a girl. My stepsister Lily stood behind her, doe-eyed and trembling, the picture of fragile innocence. I knew that look. In my previous life, I'd believed it for 8 years until it killed me. But Mom, all my things, we'll move them to the north room. It's the same size. My mother's voice had that edge that meant the conversation was over. Lily just joined our family. We need to make her feel welcome. In my first life, I'd cried. I'd begged. I'd lost. This time I smiled. Of course, Mom, whatever Lily needs. My mother blinked, surprised by my compliance. Lily's expression flickered, just for a second, with something cold and calculating before the innocent mask slid back into place. She'd been testing me, I realized, seeing how far she could push. She had no idea how far I'd let her go. The south-facing bedroom had floor-to-ceiling windows, begged my father to install 2 years ago, back when my parents were still married and he still pretended to care. They were beautiful, expensive, and completely impractical. In summer, they turned the room into a greenhouse. In winter, they leaked heat like a sieve, and the ancient radiator beneath them had never worked properly. I'd spent my first life shivering in the north room, watching Lily bask in the warmth of the living room while I studied in fingerless gloves. My grades had dropped. My health had deteriorated. And when I'd finally gotten into a good university on scholarship, Lily had stolen my acceptance letter and gone in my place. She'd used my name, my credentials, my future. My parents had helped her do it. The memory of discovering the truth made my chest tight. I'd confronted them 3 months before my 20th birthday. My father, who'd remarried by then, had laughed in my face. My mother had called me jealous and delusional. Lily had smiled that same innocent smile and handed me a cup of tea. I'd woken up in the hospital. Rat poison, the doctors said, but there was no proof, no evidence. Just my word against my family's. I'd died 2 weeks later from organ failure, alone in a charity hospital bed. But death had given me a gift, another chance. I spent the afternoon moving my belongings to the north room. It was smaller, darker, and the single window faced a brick wall, perfect. My mother didn't help. She was too busy making Lily's new room comfortable. I could hear them laughing together, the sound drifting through the walls like poison. The north room's radiator worked perfectly. I'd forgotten that. The south rooms had broken the winter I was 12, my first winter in that room in my previous life. My father had promised to fix it, but never did. He'd been too busy with his new girlfriend, the woman who had become his second wife. I opened my laptop and started a document listing everything I remembered. Dates, events, conversations. In my previous life, I'd been blind. This time, I would see everything coming. November came, and with it, the first real cold snap. I bundled up in sweaters and studied in my warm little room while Lily discovered that beauty came at a price. The south-facing room was gorgeous in photographs, and she took plenty of those, posting them online with captions about her perfect new space. But it was an icebox at night. I heard her complaining to my mother one evening. "It's so cold in there. Can't we get someone to look at the heater?" "Your father will handle it when he has time," my mother said absently. My father had already moved out by then, spending most nights with his girlfriend. "Just use an extra blanket." "But Lily's room is so warm," Lily pressed. "Maybe we could switch back?" There it was, the first crack in her facade. "Don't be silly," my mother said sharply. "We went through all that trouble moving everything. Besides, your room has the best light. You should be grateful." I smiled into my textbook. December brought snow, and with it, my first calculated move. Lily had started at my school 2 weeks after arriving. She was in the same grade, despite being 3 months older. She'd been held back due to emotional difficulties at her previous school, my mother had explained. In my previous life, I'd felt sorry for her. Now I knew the truth. She'd been expelled for bullying. She'd set her sights on Marcus Chen, the boy I'd had a crush on in my first life. The boy who'd never noticed me because Lily had gotten to him first, spinning stories about how I was jealous of her, how I'd bullied her at home. By the time I'd realized what was happening, Marcus had looked at me with disgust. This time, I got to Marcus first. Hey, I said, sliding into the seat next to him in the library. You're good at math, right? Could you help me with something? Marcus looked up, surprised. We'd never spoken before, in either timeline. Sure? I showed him a problem I'd already solved, deliberately making a small error in the middle steps. As he explained the correction, I listened carefully, asked good questions, and made him feel smart. By the end of the session, he was smiling. You're actually pretty good at this, he said. You just needed someone to explain that one concept. Thanks for your patience, I said warmly. I'm by the way, Jade Morrison. I know, he said, then blushed. I mean, we've had classes together since elementary school. Right. I gathered my books. Hey, my stepsister just moved in with us. Lily? She's in our grade. I was thinking of introducing her around, but I wanted to warn you, she can be intense. About guys, I mean. My mom says she had some problems at her last school getting too attached too fast. Just thought you should know, as a friend. The seed was planted. When Lily approached Marcus 2 days later with her usual routine, helpless, flirtatious, painting herself as a victim, he was already wary. And when she inevitably started spreading rumors about me, Marcus remembered that I'd warned him about her being intense and saw her behavior for what it was. But that was just the opening move. Christmas break arrived and the south bedroom became unbearable. The temperature dropped to record lows and the broken radiator finally gave out completely. Lily started sleeping on the couch, wrapped in every blanket in the house. When is someone going to fix my room? She demanded one morning, her nose red from the cold. Your father promised he'd look at it after the holidays, my mother said, not looking up from her phone. My father had sent a text that morning saying he wouldn't be coming for Christmas. His new family took priority. This is ridiculous, Lily snapped. Then, catching herself, she softened her voice. I mean, I don't want to complain, but I'm getting sick. Maybe Jade and I could share her room? Just until mine gets fixed? I was sitting at the kitchen table eating breakfast. I looked up with wide, innocent eyes. My room is pretty small for 2 people. And I study late. I wouldn't want to disturb you. Your education is important, my mother agreed automatically. She always said that, even though she'd never actually supported my education in any meaningful way. Lily's jaw tightened. Then maybe I could just use it during the day, when Jade's at school? That seems reasonable, my mother said. I shrugged. Sure, I don't mind. Lily smiled, thinking she'd won. She had no idea I'd been setting up cameras. I'd bought them with money from my part-time job at the library, a job I'd gotten specifically because I remembered my mother stealing from my savings in my previous life to help Lily with various expenses. This time, I'd opened a separate bank account she didn't know about. The cameras were tiny, hidden in a modified USB charger and a decorative plant. They streamed directly to my phone. Lily spent her first day in my room going through my things. She read my diary, the fake one I'd left out, full of mundane complaints about school and crushes. She tried to access my laptop but couldn't crack the password, and then she found my jewelry box. Inside was my grandmother's necklace, the only valuable thing I owned. My father's mother had given it to me before she died, a delicate gold chain with a small diamond pendant. In my previous life, it had disappeared 6 months after Lily moved in. My mother had accused me of losing it, and I'd never seen it again. Now I watched through my phone as Lily held it up to the light, examined it carefully, and slipped it into her pocket. I had her, but I didn't confront her. Not yet. I needed more. January brought a new semester and new opportunities. Lily had joined the drama club, positioning herself as the innocent newcomer with a difficult home life. She was good at playing the victim, and she'd already collected a group of sympathetic friends who believed every word she said. In my previous life, this was when she'd started the rumors that destroyed my reputation. I was jealous, cruel, mentally unstable. By the time I'd tried to defend myself, no one believed me. This time, I joined the drama club too. I want to support my sister, I told the teacher, Mrs. Patterson, with a bright smile. She's been through so much, and I think this could be really good for her. Mrs. Patterson, who loved nothing more than a heartwarming family story, practically glowed. That's so sweet of you, Jade. I'm sure Lily appreciates having you here. Lily's smile was brittle when she heard the news. I made myself helpful, learning lights, working on sets, offering to help with costumes. I was friendly to everyone, especially Lily's new friends. I laughed at their jokes. I remembered their names. I asked about their interests, and slowly, carefully, I began to let slip small inconsistencies in Lily's stories. Oh, Lily said she was homeschooled for 2 years? That's interesting. I thought she said she went to St. Catherine's during that time. Really? Lily told me her dad died when she was 8. I must have misheard. Lily's allergic to strawberries? Weird. We had strawberry cake at home last week and she had 2 slices. Nothing too obvious. Nothing that would make me seem malicious. Just confusing. Enough to make people start questioning. Meanwhile, the cameras in my room captured everything. Lily going through my things, Lily stealing small amounts of money from my desk drawer, money I'd left there deliberately, Lily reading my notebooks and using my study materials without permission, and then came the big one. I staged a college application essay on my desk. It was good, really good. The kind of personal, compelling narrative that admissions officers loved. I'd written it specifically for this purpose, full of made-up details about overcoming adversity that would be easy to trace back to its source. I watched through my phone as Lily photographed every page. February was when things started to unravel for her. The drama club was putting on a spring production, and Lily had set her sights on the lead role. She was talented, I'd give her that, but she wasn't prepared. In my previous life, she'd somehow gotten the part anyway. Later, I'd learned she'd stolen my audition notes and used them as her own. This time, I made sure my notes were elaborate, detailed, and completely wrong for the character. I left them out in my room. I talked about them to friends, making sure word would get back to Lily. I made them look invaluable, and I watched as she photographed them, page by page. When auditions came, Lily performed my interpretation exactly. She was confident, prepared, and completely off base. The character was supposed to be vulnerable and uncertain. Lily played her as bold and assertive. Mrs. Patterson's face grew more confused with each line. I auditioned after her. I gave the performance I'd actually prepared, the correct one, the one I'd kept in my locked phone, not in my notebook. Vulnerable, raw, real. I got the part. Lily's face when they announced it was the first genuine expression I'd seen from her in months. Pure, undiluted rage. "This is bullshit," she hissed at me after rehearsal. "You sabotaged me." I blinked innocently. "What do you mean? I just did my best." "You know what you did." "Lily, are you okay? You seem really stressed." I touched her arm gently. She yanked away. "Maybe you should talk to the counselor. Mom's been worried about your adjustment." She wanted to hit me. I could see it in her eyes. But we were in public and people were watching. She forced a smile and walked away. That night, she tore my room apart looking for the real notes. The cameras caught everything. Furniture shoved aside, drawers dumped out, papers scattered everywhere. She was so angry she didn't even try to hide what she was doing. When I got home, I stood in the doorway and screamed. My mother came running. "What happened?" Someone broke into my room." I gestured at the chaos, letting tears well up. "Everything's destroyed." My mother's face went pale. "We need to call the police." "No!" Lily appeared in the hallway, eyes wide. "I mean, I was in there earlier, when Jade was at rehearsal. I was looking for a book I thought I'd left in there, and I might have made a mess. I'm sorry." "You did this?" My mother's voice was sharp. "I didn't mean to. I was just looking for my book. This is completely unacceptable, Lily." My mother actually sounded angry. "Jade's room is her private space. You don't just go through her things." I watched Lily's face crumble, the innocent mask slipping. "But she goes through my stuff all the time." "I do not," I said, shocked. I haven't even been in your room since you moved in. You're lying, Lily shrieked. You've been sabotaging me. You gave me that freezing room on purpose. You turned Marcus against me. You stole my audition notes. Lily, what are you talking about? My mother looked genuinely concerned now. Honey, are you feeling okay? You gave yourself the south room because you wanted the windows. She made me take it. She knew it was cold. You asked for it, I said quietly. Remember, you said the light was better for your complexion. My mother put a hand on Lily's forehead. You feel warm. I think you need to lie down. I'm not crazy. But even as Lily said it, I could see the doubt creeping into my mother's eyes. The pieces were all there, the increasingly erratic behavior, the inconsistent stories, the paranoid accusations, overpates. The next few weeks, I tightened the noose. I accidentally left my phone unlocked where my mother could see it, showing a conversation with my father. I'd reconnected with him carefully and deliberately, playing the devoted daughter. He was happy to hear from me, guilty even, about his absence. I'd been sending him updates about school, sharing achievements, being the perfect daughter he'd always wanted. When my mother saw the messages, I watched her face pale. You've been talking to your father? He's my dad, I said simply. I miss him. Without telling me? You're always so busy with Lily, I said, not accusatory, just sad. I didn't want to bother you. That hit her hard, harder than I'd expected. March brought the Winter Drama Festival, and with it, the performance that would define the semester. I'd worked hard, stayed late for rehearsals, and built genuine friendships with my castmates. Lily had grown increasingly isolated, her behavior more erratic as each of her schemes failed. The stolen jewelry had reappeared in her room. I'd planted it there carefully, making sure my mother found it while looking for something else. The stolen money had been returned, but not before I'd documented every theft. The essay she'd copied was already flagged by the plagiarism detection software used by the local essay competition I'd submitted it to. I'd made sure to submit it first, establishing my authorship. Everything was falling into place. The night of the performance, the auditorium was packed. My father came. I'd invited him specifically. My mother was there too, sitting on the opposite side of the room. Lily sat in the back, her face a mask of barely contained rage. I poured everything into that performance. Every ounce of pain from my previous life, every moment of suffering, every second of being overlooked and underestimated. The character's journey from victim to survivor was my journey, and the audience felt it. When the final curtain fell, the applause was thunderous. Backstage, my father found me. That was incredible, honey. I'm so proud of you. Thanks, Dad. I hugged him, genuinely touched. In this timeline, we were rebuilding our relationship. In my previous life, he'd never come to a single performance. Listen, he said, pulling back to look at me seriously. I've been thinking. Your mother and I made mistakes in the divorce, and I haven't been as present as I should be, but I want to change that. I've been talking to a lawyer about custody arrangements. Really? I widened my eyes. If you want, you're old enough to have a say in where you live. My new place has a room for you, and the school district is excellent. Better than where you are now. I pretended to think about it, though I'd been leading him toward this offer for months. Can I think about it? Of course. No pressure. But there was pressure, and my mother felt it. When she cornered me later that evening, her desperation was palpable. Your father spoke to me about custody. Oh, I kept my voice neutral, saying, you're not seriously considering living with him, are you? After everything he put us through? He's changed, Mom. He actually listens to me, comes to my events, cares about my education. I care about your education. Do you? The words came out sharper than I'd intended. When was the last time you asked about my grades? Or helped me study? Or came to a parent-teacher conference? I've been busy. With Lily. The silence stretched between us. I'm trying to help her adjust, my mother said finally. She's had a difficult life. So have I. I met her eyes steadily. I'm your daughter too, Mom. But you've spent the last 4 months treating me like I'm the guest, and she's your real child. That's not fair, isn't it? I gestured around us. She gets my room, my things, your attention, and when she acts out, you make excuses. When she steals from me, you tell me to be understanding. When she tears my room apart, you blame it on stress. She's struggling, and I'm not? My voice cracked, genuine emotion bleeding through. I've been struggling, Mom, but I've been doing it quietly, so you haven't noticed. My mother's face crumpled. Jade, I'm sorry. I didn't realize. I know you didn't. That's the problem. I left her standing there and went to my room, my small, warm, north-facing room that I'd chosen for myself this time around. I closed the door and leaned against it, taking a deep breath. Phase 1 was complete. My mother was doubting herself. My father was on my side. Lily was unraveling. Now for the final act. April brought the spring semester's midterm exams, and with them, my ultimate revenge. I'd spent months setting the stage, documenting everything, building my case. The cameras had captured hours of footage. Lily stealing, lying, going through my things. I'd compiled it all into a single, devastating video file. But I needed the right moment, the right audience. It came in the form of the Academic Achievement Assembly, where the semester's highest-performing students would be recognized. I'd worked hard to ensure I'd be among them, straight A's, perfect attendance, glowing teacher recommendations. Lily would be there too, though her grades had been slipping as her behavior deteriorated. The night before the assembly, I made my move. I sent an anonymous email to the school administration containing 3 things: the video compilation of Lily's thefts, screenshots of the plagiarized essay, submitted under her name to a different competition. I'd made sure she thought it was her own work by accidentally leaving it where she could find it, and a detailed timeline of her harassment of multiple students, including Marcus. I also sent copies to my mother and father. Then I waited. The assembly was scheduled for 2 p.m. By noon, I was called to the principal's office. Principal Harper was a stern woman with zero tolerance for dishonesty. She sat behind her desk, my mother on one side, Lily on the other. My mother looked devastated. Lily looked defiant. Jade, Principal Harper said carefully, I need to ask you some questions about your stepsister. Okay. Did you install cameras in your bedroom? Yes, after someone broke in and trashed it, I wanted to make sure it didn't happen again. I kept my voice steady, reasonable. I have a right to protect my private space. The footage shows your stepsister taking items from your room on multiple occasions. I know I was going to report it, but my mother asked me to give Lily time to adjust to her new life. I looked at my mother. I was trying to be understanding. She's lying, Lily burst out on a scene. She's been setting me up from the beginning. She gave me that freezing room on purpose. She sabotaged my audition. She turned everyone against me. Lily, Principal Harper said sharply. We also received evidence that you submitted a plagiarized essay to the county youth writing competition. An essay that was first submitted by Jade to a different competition 3 weeks earlier. Lily's face went white. I didn't. She must have copied mine. The metadata on both documents shows clearly that Jade's was created first. Principal Harper's voice was cold. Additionally, we have multiple reports of you harassing other students and spreading false rumors. This behavior, combined with the theft and plagiarism, constitutes grounds for expulsion. No, my mother stood up. This is a misunderstanding. Lily wouldn't. Ms. Morrison, I've reviewed the evidence carefully. It's extensive and indisputable. Principal Harper turned to Lily. You have until the end of the week to clean out your locker. You're being transferred to West Side Alternative School. Alternative School, the place for students with behavioral problems, the place where Lily had been before she came to us. I'd confirmed it through careful research, finding records my mother had conveniently hidden. Lily looked at me, and for the first time, I saw real fear in her eyes. Good. The fallout was immediate and spectacular. That evening, my mother tried to defend Lily. She made mistakes, but she's still family by... She's not my family, I said calmly. She's a stranger who moved into our house and has been making my life hell for 4 months. And you let her. I was trying to help her. At my expense. My father chose that moment to arrive. I'd texted him during the assembly, filling him in on everything. He looked at my mother with barely contained disgust. I've been reviewing Jade's situation, he said without preamble, Hanana, and I'm filing for full custody. You can't do that. I can, and I will. Jade is thriving at school despite your neglect. She's earned academic honors, starred in the spring play, and maintained a part-time job, all while you've been focused on a girl who's been systematically stealing from and harassing her. That's not what happened. That's exactly what happened, I said quietly. I have months of documentation, Mom. Cameras, witnesses, bank records, everything. My mother's face crumpled. You've been planning this the whole time? I've been protecting myself, I corrected, because no one else would. Lily tried to run away that night. She packed a bag and attempted to sneak out, but my mother caught her. The argument that followed was explosive, Lily's mask finally shattering completely as she screamed about how unfair it all was, how I'd stolen her life, how she deserved better. I was supposed to be special here, she shrieked. I was supposed to be the favorite. But you all just kept talking about Jade, perfect Jade with her perfect grades and her perfect father who actually gives a shit about her. I was supposed to be the one everyone loved. By stealing from my daughter? My mother's voice was cold. By lying and manipulating and making her life miserable? She had everything. A nice room, a family that cared, opportunities. I was just taking what should have been mine. Nothing here was yours, Lily, and now you have to live with the consequences. The social worker came the next morning. Lily's biological mother was tracked down, a woman with her own history of instability and manipulation. Lily was placed in foster care pending a more permanent arrangement. I felt nothing watching her leave. No satisfaction, no guilt, just relief. May brought a fresh start. I moved in with my father and his new family. His wife, Rebecca, was kind and genuinely interested in my life. Her daughter, Emma, was 7 and thought I was the coolest person alive. The house was warm, the rooms were fairly distributed, and for the first time in years, I felt safe. My relationship with my mother was complicated. She called regularly, apologizing, trying to make amends. I was polite but distant. Maybe one day I'd forgive her completely, but not yet. The hurt was still too fresh, even if this version of it was different from my previous life. I'd saved myself this time, changed my fate, rewritten my story. The academic achievement assembly that had been postponed was rescheduled for late May. I accepted my awards, highest GPA, outstanding achievement in English, drama department excellence, with my father and Rebecca cheering in the audience. Marcus found me afterward. Hey, congrats on all the awards. Thanks. Listen, I wanted to apologize for not noticing what Lily was doing earlier. Some of the things she said about you, I should have known better. It's okay, she was convincing. Still, you deserved better. He hesitated. A group of us are going to the pier this weekend. Want to come? I smiled. Yeah, I'd like that. As summer approached, I reflected on everything that had changed. In my previous life, this would have been the summer before my senior year. The summer when Lily would steal my college applications and set in motion the chain of events that would end with my death. But that timeline was gone, erased, replaced with this one where I was stronger, smarter, and unwilling to be a victim. June brought news that Lily had been institutionalized. Her behavioral issues had escalated in foster care, and she'd been diagnosed with several personality disorders. Part of me felt sorry for her. She clearly needed help. But mostly, I felt vindicated. I'd been right about her all along. My mother came to visit, tearful and apologetic. I should have listened to you. I should have protected you. Yeah, I agreed. You should have. Can you forgive me? I thought about it. Maybe. Eventually, but right now I need space. She nodded, accepting it. We were building a new relationship slowly, with clear boundaries and honest communication. It would never be what it had been, but it could be something real. July was peaceful. I worked at the library, saved money, and studied for college entrance exams. My father had already started looking at universities with me, discussing options and financial aid. Rebecca helped me research scholarship opportunities. For the first time in 2 lifetimes, I felt hopeful. August brought my senior year. I'd been elected as vice president of the drama club, made the honor roll, and had genuine friends who valued me. The south-facing bedroom in my mother's house remained empty. She couldn't bring herself to use it, haunted by what had happened. I didn't care. I had my own room in my father's house, properly heated, properly mine. September brought college applications, and I poured myself into them. I wrote about resilience, about learning to stand up for myself, about the importance of documentation and truth. I didn't mention the rebirth, that was my secret, but I wrote honestly about recovering from neglect and finding my strength. October brought acceptance letters, early admission to 3 top universities with full scholarships to 2 of them. I chose Berkshire University, the same school Lily had stolen from me in my previous life. This time, I'd earned it myself. November brought my 18th birthday. My father threw me a party, nothing huge, just family and close friends. Marcus was there, along with my drama club friends and some people from the library. We had cake and laughed and celebrated. My mother came bearing gifts and apologies. We were cordial. It was enough. December brought winter again, and with it, a phone call. "Jade, it's Lily." I froze. "How did you get this number?" "Your mom gave it to me. Listen, I wanted to apologize." Her voice was different, quieter, less performative. "For everything. The therapists here have been helping me understand I was wrong about so many things." "Okay. I know you probably don't believe me. I wouldn't either, but I'm sorry for stealing from you, for lying, for trying to take your life. You didn't deserve any of that." I was quiet for a moment. "Why are you calling me?" "Because my therapist says I need to make amends, and because you were right about everything. I was trying to steal your life because I hated my own, but that wasn't fair to you." "No, it wasn't. I know I can't fix what I did, but I wanted you to know that I recognize it was wrong, and I'm working on being better." "Good luck with that," I said, and meant it. Then I hung up. I didn't need her apology, didn't need her acknowledgement. I'd already won. January brought my final semester of high school. I was top of my class, captain of the academic decathlon team, and had been accepted into the honors program at Berkshire. My relationship with my father had never been stronger. My mother and I spoke weekly, slowly rebuilding trust. And Lily was just a memory, a cautionary tale I sometimes shared with friends about the importance of standing up for yourself. February brought validation. The essay I'd written, the real one, not the one Lily had stolen, won a national competition. The prize was $10,000 and publication in a major magazine. My mother called, crying, "I'm so proud of you." "Thanks, Mom. I wish I'd been better to you when you needed me." "You're being better now," I said. That's what matters." It wasn't complete forgiveness, but it was a start. March brought my final performance in the spring play. I'd been cast as the lead again, and I gave it everything. The character was a woman who'd survived impossible odds and come out stronger. It felt like playing myself. The applause at the curtain call was deafening. April brought prom. Marcus asked me, and I said yes. We weren't dating, just friends. But it was nice to have someone who understood my history and didn't judge me for it. We danced and laughed and took ridiculous photos. It was perfect. May brought graduation. I walked across that stage with my head held high, accepted my diploma with a 4.0 GPA, and delivered the valedictorian speech about resilience and self-advocacy. My father cried, Rebecca cried, even my mother cried. I felt triumphant. June brought freedom. I said goodbye to the high school that had witnessed my transformation, to the teachers who'd supported me, to the friends who'd stood by me. And I looked forward to the future I'd built for myself. July brought preparation for college. I shopped for dorm supplies with Rebecca, who'd become more of a mother to me than my biological mother had ever been. We picked out bedding and desk supplies and argued good-naturedly about whether I needed a coffee maker. You absolutely need one, Rebecca insisted. Trust me, you'll be grateful during finals week. Fine, I laughed. But I'm getting the small one. August brought move-in day. My father drove me to Berkshire, helped me set up my dorm room, and tried not to cry when he said goodbye. I'm so proud of you, he said, hugging me tight. You've overcome so much. Thanks, Dad, for everything. You did this yourself. I just provided the support you deserved. After he left, I stood in my new room, mine earned, fought for, and breathed deeply. This was it, the future I'd died for, the life I'd reclaimed. My phone buzzed, a text from Marcus, how's college life? I smiled and typed back, perfect. And it was. September brought new classes, new friends, new challenges. I dove into my major, creative writing, with passion and purpose. My professors praised my work, noting the emotional depth and authenticity. They had no idea how much I'd lived through to achieve that authenticity. October brought an unexpected email from my mother. Lily was released from the facility. She's living with her biological mother now, thought you should know. I felt nothing. Lily was no longer my problem, no longer my concern. She was just another person in the world struggling with her own demons. I had moved on. November brought my first college Thanksgiving. I went home to my father's house where Rebecca had prepared an elaborate feast. Emma had made me a card that said, "Best big sister ever." We ate and laughed and were grateful. December brought winter again, 1 year since Lily had realized her mistake in choosing that beautiful, freezing room. I wondered if she thought about it, about how that single decision had set off the chain of events that led to her downfall. Probably not. People like Lily rarely understood causation. But I understood. I'd orchestrated every piece, moved every chess piece exactly where it needed to be. I'd let her take the room with the broken heater, let her steal from me, let her dig her own grave while I documented everything. I'd let winter teach her the price of her choices. January brought the start of a new semester and new opportunities. I'd been selected for a competitive internship at a publishing house. My writing was being recognized, my talent acknowledged. Everything I'd been denied in my first life, I was claiming in my second. February brought a letter from Lily, physical mail, forwarded through my mother. Dear Jade, it read, I know you probably don't want to hear from me, I don't blame you, but I wanted you to know that I'm doing better. I'm in therapy, I'm medicated, and I'm starting to understand the person I was and why I did those things. I hurt you badly, and I'm sorry. I don't expect forgiveness. I just wanted you to know that I recognize what I did was wrong, and I'm working every day to be better. I hope you're happy. You deserve to be. Lily. I read it once, then put it in a drawer and forgot about it. March brought spring and renewal. I'd made Dean's List, been published in the college literary magazine, and was dating a senior in the English department, a kind, thoughtful guy who respected my boundaries and supported my ambitions. Life was good. April brought a surprise visit from my mother. She'd driven 3 hours, to see me, bearing gifts and hope. I know I have no right to ask, she said over coffee, but I'd like to be part of your life again. Really part of it, not just phone calls and texts. I considered her. She looked older, tired, like the guilt had been eating at her. Good. On one condition, I said finally. You get therapy, real therapy, where you work through why you prioritized a stranger over your own daughter. I've already started, she said quietly. 6 months ago, after you left. Okay, I nodded. Then we can try. It wasn't instant reconciliation, but it was progress. May brought the end of my first year of college. I'd thrived academically, socially, emotionally. I was healthy, happy, and whole. Everything Lily had tried to take from me, I'd reclaimed. June brought summer plans, an internship in publishing, an apartment share with college friends, writing workshops and networking events. I was building my future, brick by brick. July brought reflection. I sometimes thought about my first life, about the girl who'd been so easily victimized, who'd trusted too readily and stood up too late. She died so I could live. August brought preparation for sophomore year. I was declaring my major officially, moving into a new apartment, planning my coursework for the next 2 years. I had goals, dreams, a path forward. September brought the 2-year anniversary of my rebirth. 2 years since I'd opened my eyes in that hallway and decided to change everything. I'd succeeded beyond my wildest hopes. October brought another email from my mother. Lily's doing well. She got her GED and is taking community college classes. She asked about you. I told her you're thriving. I'm proud of you, Jade. I know I didn't always show it, but I am. I smiled and deleted the email. Lily's redemption wasn't my story to follow. November brought Thanksgiving with my father's family. We'd established traditions now. Rebecca's famous stuffing, Emma's enthusiastic table settings, my father's terrible jokes that we all pretended to laugh at. This was my family. The one I'd chosen, the one I'd fought for. December brought winter again, and with it, complete peace. 2 years since Lily had complained about the cold in that south-facing room. 2 years since I'd smiled and let her suffer the consequences of her choices. Sometimes I still thought about those windows, beautiful, expensive, useless. The perfect metaphor for Lily herself, all surface appeal, no substance, and ultimately self-destructive. She'd chosen beauty over warmth, image over comfort, my life over her own. And winter had taught her the price. As I sat in my heated apartment, surrounded by my books and my writing and my carefully built life, I felt a deep, abiding satisfaction. I'd won. Not through luck or magic or supernatural intervention, but through patience, planning, and the willingness to let my enemies destroy themselves. I'd let her take the room. I'd let her take the rope. I'd let her hang herself. And when winter came, I'd been warm and safe while she'd frozen in the consequences of her own choices. Perfect. Epilogue. 3 years after my rebirth, I graduated from Berkshire with highest honors. My mother and father both attended, sitting together for the first time in years, united in their pride. Rebecca and Emma cheered loudly when I crossed the stage. I'd published my first novel, a story about resilience and revenge, thinly veiled fiction that my readers assumed was entirely made up. It was a bestseller. Lily never contacted me again after that single letter. According to my mother, she'd completed her associate's degree and moved to another state, working as a receptionist and continuing therapy. She'd built a small, quiet life for herself. Good for her. As for me, I was thriving. I had a literary agent, a book deal for my second novel, and an apartment in the city I'd always dreamed of living in. I had friends who loved me, a family that supported me, and a future bright with possibility. I'd taken the life that was stolen from me and built something even better. And sometimes, on cold winter nights, I'd think about that south-facing room with its beautiful windows and broken heater. I'd think about the girl who'd wanted it so badly, who'd thought beauty was worth freezing for, and I'd smile, warm and content in the life I'd reclaimed, and think, I hope the view was worth it. Because when winter came, I was ready, and she never saw it coming.